Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tenos, and we're gonna be doing something a little different today. So, as you can see, we are not in Brawlhalla today. So we're gonna be playing some Tarkov. Well, not really playing. What I want to try and do is make like kind of informational little mini series thing on Tarkov. So I want to do like some very basic stuff, for people that are like super new to the game, just like navigating around the UI and knowing what's what. And then we'll get into some more intermediate stuff, like how to read what all these stats are and whatever and what they mean. Same for like armors and all that crap. So yeah, and I think we're gonna try and split it up into a couple different videos because there's a lot to this game, and there's a lot to go over. So yeah, I think for right now we're gonna start out with the UI. So, is your first time opening the game, this is what you see. Your character is your main character, your PMC. You have two options basically. You go in as a PMC, which is like, you build the shit that's on him, whatever guns you want. Or you can go in as a scav, which is where you just get a random loadout with random stuff on you. And you pick where you want to go. Like you can pick the map that you want to go to. But you kind of just get dropped into a map at whatever time. Like as a PMC, you start at the very beginning of the timer. So like there's 45 minutes in a raid. As a PMC, you start at 45 minutes. As a scav, it kind of just drops you in whenever. And mainly how the game is there's AI scavs around the map. So like bots, and then there's player scavs, and then there's PMCs. So there can be, scav players and PMC players in the same map and in the same raids. But then there's also AI scavs just kind of scattered around. And scavs always just have like random shit, for the most part. And there's also raiders, which are like fucking buff scavs, to put it simply. So yeah, but we'll get into them later. So you come in, this is your character, this is your stash, this is where you have all your crap that you can, put on your dude. So backpacks, that's a backpack, that's a scav backpack. There's a bunch of different types of bags. There's some that are like huge, like it's basically just like how many squares it holds. So you can see if I double click this one, double clicking it is like opening the bag to see what's in it. I just have other bags in the bags because that's a good way to store them. So, you can see that it's just whatever, how many spaces are in it. Some bags are actually like split up, so it's not just all one big compartment. It'll be like a square of 16 and then, whatever else. So there's a bunch of different kinds of bags, but your bag goes here. Your pockets are just always there. It's just single slot items. So there's some magazines and stuff that are single slots, med kits. Your compass is a new addition to the game. Recording this like shortly after the 12.8 update. So the compass is a new addition to the game, and this cannot be taken off of you in a raid. But I'll get into how the raid mechanics work in a second. So you have rigs. There's some rigs that have body armor built into them. So like this is one that has it built in. You can see down here it says armor class 4. So like this is just straight up body armor. Like it doesn't hold anything. So with the armored rigs, they hold this and they're also armor at the same time. So if I take this armor off, and take off that rig, if I put on this armored rig, you can't put body armor on top of it because it already has armor. So, that's kind of self-explanatory. You get 2 guns and a pistol and a melee weapon. You're never really going to use the melee weapon that much. Mainly, mainly there's like one melee weapon that you're ever going to use, and it's not actually to hit anything. It's just to extract. But you know, stuff that we'll get into later. There's like aesthetic stuff. So, where was that fucking thing? Yeah, you can wear like berets and shit. So you can see my dude has a fucking beret on. There's all kinds of like hats and fucking sunglasses and whatever. So that's like the basics of putting together your character. You know, you have helmets. Some helmets have visors that you can put on them. You can take them off. It's just, you just drag it and drop it. They added a really helpful thing recently where if you're dragging something, like say I take this off of here, if I'm dragging this, if this is highlighted green, it means it can go on there. If it's highlighted yellow, it just means that it can go in it, you know, like it'll fit inside of it. So it, you know, you can see it there. So yeah, so if it's highlighted green, it can go on it. And it's the same for weapons. So if I go into this Mosin and take off this scope, when I, you know, click and drag it, it can go onto that. You know, it can go onto other weapons too. Actually, I don't have the mounts on that gun or any of those guns, so that's why they're not showing up green, but you get what I'm saying, hopefully. So yeah, that's how, like, the new fucking kind of drag and drop system works. If you hold control and click, it doesn't really do it in the stash, but it'll do it in raid, where like if you're looting shit and you hold control and click it, you don't have to drag it onto your guy. As long as you have room for it, it'll put it on your dude. So like, did it just put those in there automatically? Yeah, okay. So you can do it with armor, or with like ammo and other items. For some reason, it don't want to work with fucking armor and shit, which makes no sense. It's like it's trying to put it in my bag. You know, like if I do that and then I do it, it'll put it in there. So it's not the most polished, but you know, whatever. It's how it is for right now. So any other shit, you can just hold control and click it. It'll just put it all on any slot that you have. It doesn't really like organize it in any way for you. So like one tip, you know, you can see how these are like 2 slot things, but these items are only 1 slot. You don't really want to keep a 1 item slot up there, because it'll, you know, keep you from being able to put, let's say, you know, a 2 slot magazine there. So like if I had that there, you know, like why would I put it there when there's 1 slot, you know, things available, and then that way I can, you know, maximize what I can put in there. And you don't have to drag it in this specific spot. You can just drag it like onto the picture of your rig and whatever, and it'll just kind of go in there. So that's a quick way, instead of trying to get them in the slot, because to get them in the slot, like on their own, if you're holding it and you press R, it rotates it. So if this is rotated like this, it won't auto rotate, but if I just put it on the thing, then it does. So when you put it over the slot, it doesn't auto rotate. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, what else? So I think that's pretty much it. There's also headsets. You can only wear them with certain helmets. Excuse me, fucking voice going out a little bit. Perfect time to record, right? So certain helmets you can wear headsets with, and these like amplify footsteps. There's a bunch of different ones. They all kind of sound differently. Some of them, there's one like really cheap one that it doesn't amplify footsteps, it just amplifies everything. Kind of. But it's not that bad. Like, you just have to get used to it. It's loud as fuck when you're using it. Like, it's just kind of weird. The weapons, for the UI for the weapons, like if you just double click on a gun, there's all kinds of different shit, all kinds of different parts that you can do. You know, different combinations, they give you different stats. So I'm trying to think before I go into the stats for guns and stuff. and what they mean. If there's any more like UI shit, well, I mean, I guess I'll go over this. So if you go into your overall, this is just stats on your dude. You can pick different clothing that you own here. Like I can change my pants, put on a fucking, oh, not that one, put on a fucking shirt, whatever. Oh, Jesus. He's going fast, he's moving. But yeah, so there you go. Your gear, like I said, is all your shit. Your health will bring you to this screen. And this is like when you're in raid and you press tab, by default it's tab to open up your inventory. This is all available to you in your inventory to click on each of these tabs. Your health is where you'll actually heal your dude. So if I get shot in the arm, you know, it'll drop hit points. It will actually scatter a little bit of hit points like to other things, like through like blunt force. And then, you know, so this health kit, basically I would just drag it onto whatever needs healed. I'm going to try and do some raids later on and hopefully fucking be able to show some of this stuff, but it's kind of easy to understand what it, you know, what it is. So yeah, if your dude's hurt, you just drag it on there. There's different med kits, they do different shit. I'll get into more of that later. I just want to try and get like the really, really basic UI stuff before I get into any, you know, real detailed shit. You have skills. Your skills only really change like on your PMC. When you play as a scab, it's just like random. But your PMC, they you know, go up with more raids and stuff that you do, and they affect different shit. So like your endurance is how long you can run, stamina, fucking how long you can hold your breath. Jumping is how much you can carry, how high you can jump, your melee striking power, how far you can throw grenades, that's important. Vitality is decreasing chances of getting a bleed effect from getting shot. Like I said, we'll go into, you know, what happens when you get shot and everything a little later on, maybe a later episode, I don't know. So yeah, so each of these have a different fucking, what you call it, that, you know, affects it. And the higher the level, the more effective these like fucking buffs are for your character. So if you get, you know, strength fucking way up, then your dude can jump higher than other characters. You can carry a lot more. You can see it doesn't go up a ton, but after a bunch of fucking levels, it does make a pretty good difference. You can master in weapons, and what this does is it'll increase your proficiency with these weapons, which means like your I think like your recoil and stuff will go down. You can see there's bigger sections in the skills for each of these weapons. So assault rifles, you know, it increases your reload speed with those types of guns, reduces a bit of recoil. But aside from the weapon, like, you know, sections here, there's actually recoil control on its own. And this one affects all weapons, and it affects them much more. You can see it's plus 5% like per level. And there's aim drills, like how fast you can aim. It makes it quieter when you aim. A big thing in this game is sound. Footsteps, shooting, you know, whatever. You can see there's covert movement, makes your footsteps a little quieter. Searching is looting shit. It'll, you know, it'll show up faster. We'll show you looting later on once we get into a raid. I might try and do like a raid at the end of each episode. I'm not really sure how I want to do this yet. I'm kind of just doing it on the fly like everything else. But I don't know. I think I might try and, you know, tell you a bunch of shit and then fucking go into a raid and try my best to like show examples of what I told you. So yeah, so there's the skills, there's mastering different weapons. This is weapons like specifically. I don't know, honestly, like what this affects. You know, like if I'm level whatever in an AK-103, I don't know if it gives me, you know, better recoil or whatever control with a 103. I don't believe it does. I think the only thing that really affects that is the skills. Obviously, using an AK will bring up the assault rifle skills, but that's pretty much it. You have a map tab. I don't have any maps because they're not super useful right now, at least not for me, because I kind of just do a lot of solo raids. If you're doing a squad, I believe if you have maps, you can buy maps from Therapist. So here's like different maps. I think you can put markers on them that like your squad can see, or you know that at least just you can see. But the maps are kind of shit, to be totally honest with you. They're you know they're like realistic maps, as if you know, and someone in the apocalypse would like draw them up or like stole them from a building or some other shit. So they're not like you know the most detailed maps. So you're better off just going to the wiki and looking at the different maps and stuff there, because there are some nice people that have made you know renders, like 2D renders of each map, and they list where the spawns are, where the extracts are, where like certain keys go. You know, there's some rooms in the game that you can't get into unless you have a key. This is a key for customs for a building that's fucking known as Big Red. Maybe we'll do a customs raid, and I can show you that shit. But back to the character. I'm gonna finish up here. So yeah, so there's maps. If you go to the map, it'll show you a picture of the map that you fucking, whatever map you buy. You have to have it in your inventory though, unless they changed it. I don't know that they did, but as far as I know, you know, I would have to put the map like in my container or whatever. You have tasks. These are missions for each of the dealers down here. There are 8 in total. This guy is just a kind of like sell shit to him dude. He doesn't give you tasks. There's one task for him at the end to get the Kappa container. So you can see I have a Gamma container. The Kappa is like 1 row taller, actually. It's a 3x4. Your container is awesome. This is your fucking prison pocket. This is shoving shit up your ass and nobody can steal it from you when they kill you. So anything you put in here, if I go out and I die, they can take all of this stuff except for your melee and your compass. They can take everything else off of you, but anything I put in here, they can't take. So, you know, you can put some mags in there. You can put med kits in there. This sick case actually holds like all my keys and shit. I kind of just have a bunch of random keys in there because I haven't gotten them super organized. The rest of my keys, I fucking keep them in here. I got a bunch of lapse cards for no reason. This stuff, so I was talking about the Kappa container. You have to collect specific things for the Kappa container. And this is like I keep it in here so I don't accidentally sell it or whatever. You know, so there's like a mustache. You can actually put this on your dude. Like, yeah, now he has a stash. It's kind of fucking hilarious. But they're kind of like rare, so I mean, whatever. If you want to wear it, it's up to you. I'm saving it to get the stupid container because it's awesome. Like I said, it's stuff that you know you put it in there and nobody can loot it, so it's pretty nice to have. And you know there's a bunch of different ones. There's the alpha container, beta, fucking epsilon, whatever. You know from A progressing onward, they get bigger each time. So yeah, that's your container. Container is very important. You're always going to take it in with you. You only have this as a PMC, by the way. As a scav, you don't get a container. As a scav, you just get random shit, and if you die, they can take everything off of you, including, you know, the melee weapons and all that. The only time you get anything from a scav run is if you extract from the raid. No matter what you pick up, you know, whatever, if somebody kills you, then you lost all that shit. So, you know, it's not, you know, not like a forgiving game in that sense, but that's what makes it fun. So, aside from the container, I went over the tasks. You have different missions, bunch of random shit for these dudes. So we'll go to the dealers in the UI. Yeah, we'll just go through here. So you have 8 different dealers, like I said. Each of them sells different shit. So Prapper sells a lot of like AK stuff and different AK variants. You can trade for things. So like this, I can just buy for 46,000 rubles, but this gun, I can't just buy it. I'd have to get 10 of these and 5 of these and then trade them to him, and he would then give me this gun in exchange for, you know, all these requested items. So there's a lot of different barters. Barters are very important in terms of like getting some things, because there's some shit that's like super expensive on the flea market. We'll get to the flea market, but it's basically like a user kind of auction house for items. Anything that you find in raid, so anything that has this little check mark, you can sell on the flea market. And you know, you make the price. So you just name your price, and if somebody wants it, then they buy it. Generally, you're just gonna make whatever the lowest price is because you're trying to sell shit and get that money. But, you know, whatever. You do you. If you want to make something 1,000,000 rubles just for laughs, then go for it. So yeah, so Prapper sells a bunch of AK shit. They all have levels to them. So you can see I have Prapper at level 3. So with each level, he gives you, you know, adds on newer shit that you can buy. And, you know, as you go higher, it's much better stuff. You know, like if I wanted to buy grenades at his first level, yeah, you can't even buy fucking flash grenades from him, which really sucks. The second level, you can buy flashes, and you can trade him for this grenade if you get an ES lamp. But then level 3, you can just straight up buy them, which is nice. So Prapper has AK shit. Therapist is all your healing items. She has a couple other like random bits and bobs, like fucking some keys. The maps, like I said, she has some food items, but the food items, you're better off just buying them off the flea market. They'll be cheaper. Dogtag case is how can I explain it? I guess, all right. So, like I said, when you die, you know, lose all your shit except for your melee, anything in your pouch, and your compass. There's another item that's not shown here, that you'll have in raid, and it's your dog tag. So what it is it's just literally a dog tag, but you can take it off of the people that you kill. So you get 1 per PMC that you kill. Scavs do not have dog tags, only PMCs. You know, because they're the fucking military dudes. But it tells you... I actually didn't even kill this dude. I just fucking picked this one up. So it tells you who killed him, what weapon they killed him with. Oh, he had a DVL. That's why that fucking hurt so much. This dude killed me a while ago. And, yeah, I remember the fight against him, and fucking... he was using a DVL, which is a nice sniper. You can see him kind of OCD with my shit. Like it's got to be organized correctly. So everything, like, this might look like a bunch of shit, but this is all specific. Like these are all barter items. You know, these couple here are all like my weapon parts. Shit like that, you know, whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of stupid with my shit, but whatever, that's me. So you can buy a dog tag case, which means you can put the dog tag case in your container here, and then, you know, it gives you kind of more space to put stuff in there. You know, if I had 3 dog tags, it would take up 3 slots. But if I have a dog tag case, then I can put the 3 dog tags in there, you know, and it'll save me room. There's different cases, so you can take a docs case with you. Sick case. Both of these can hold keys, like just regular keys. That's how I have keys in here. I believe the sick case does not hold key cards. I don't know. Okay, it does. There's something that the fucking sick case doesn't hold. Maybe it's Bitcoin? I don't know. There's something. I forget what it is. But yeah, so there's like some slight differences between these two. I forget off the top of my head what they are. But yeah, so that's the dog tag shit. Moving on from that. Fence, like I said, has a bunch of random shit. Basically, this is stuff that players sell to him, and then he sells it back. This is basically like the flea market before you unlock the flea market. But he's a real fucking prick because he sells everything for way more than it's worth. But sometimes you can find, you know, some goodies on here. But as you can see, it's just a bunch of random shit. Yeah, it's not, I don't know. Unless you're looking for like a specific weapon part that you can't get on the flea market, like nobody's selling it or whatever, there's not a whole lot of reason to buy shit off a fence. You know, I don't know. I think it's very rare, if ever, that he would have stuff cheaper than it is on the flea market. So that's fence. There's certain things like if you have an armor and this has 56 out of 56 points, if it gets down to 0 and it's blacked out and you don't want to repair it, you can right click and it gives you a little option here. We'll go over what all this shit is. But yeah, so you can repair it, and if you don't want to repair it and it's 0, Ragman and Skier are the only dudes, and Peacekeeper buys armors, but they won't buy them if they're fucked up like that. So if it's zeroed out and you don't want to spend a little bit of money to repair it, you know, if it's not worth it, then you can just sell it to Fence. So he pretty much buys all the shit that other people won't buy. But generally everything else, everyone buys. I think it's really just only like zeroed out shit. So, and they will, pretty much all of these people will give you more money than he will. Like I said, he's a real fucking prick, but he has a Kappa case, so we have to be nice to him for a while. Skier has weapon parts, some AKs, 8Rs, which is like an AR rifle. AR rifle, yeah, that makes sense. AR, which is stands for assault rifle. Peacekeeper sells more of the European shit, so he sells like a lot of HK, FN stuff. FN is French, I believe. HK is German. And then he sells American shit too, which is like the M4, fucking some other shit. M9, I believe, is American 1911. This is the FN pistol. This is like the best pistol ever. I love that fucking. I love 5.7s. So yeah, so he sells all those. Sells a couple different types of armor. You can see here you can buy a beta case from him. So when you have your account, you'll see that when you look at your character, you start out with an alpha container, and then as you get him to level 2. You can buy a beta container, which is, I think, 2 more slots than the alpha. Yeah, so this is the alpha and this is the beta. So you get 2 more, you know, fucking slots in your butthole to hide shit. So that's Peacekeeper. Mechanic sells weapon parts, you know, bunch of weapons, bunch of different shit. He kind of sells like customized weapons. So some of these are kind of worth trading for if you just like find the shit, but a lot of them aren't super worth it. Mainly like the cases are kind of worth it. This one's not so much. Actually, it might. Yeah, no, that one is, I think, because they sell for a lot more. Sorry, I just wanted to. Yeah. So that one is actually worth it, but we'll get into how to fucking, you know, get shit that is super high on the flea market without actually paying high flea market prices. We'll get into that in a bit. So mechanic gun parts. So basically Prapper, Skier, Mechanic are all gun parts. Peacekeeper sells gun parts and some armor. Ragman is only armor and clothing, and you know, backpacks and rigs and shit. You can buy little masks, fucking sunglasses, whatever you want to fucking do. Jaeger sells snipers and shotguns, and he's kind of like a survivalist dude. Each of these dealer people actually like live in Tarkov, or I guess Tarkov's the city. Whatever, they live in the fucking in the region around it. So all the different maps, he fucking lives on woods anyway. So he's like a survival dude. He sells shotguns, snipers, some long range scopes and the mounts for them. Bunch of different barrels for shotguns, and yeah. Or wait, he sells some snipers. Okay. And like, you know, fucking whatever survival shit. This is something that I was talking about. It might not be anymore, but when I got a sick case, I absolutely was not going to pay the ridiculous price on the flea market to get one. They actually weren't even selling them on the flea market. You might not be able to sell them anymore. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, anyway, they used to sell for a lot before I guess they changed it, and it was actually cheaper to just fucking buy this shit and trade it. Same with the Red Rebel. The Red Rebels, I know you can sell. This is the melee weapon I was talking about, where you're only going to use it to extract. So you can see they sell for 6 million. If you, last time I checked, if you buy all this shit, it only comes out to like 1.5 million to trade for one. I just haven't done it because I don't know. I don't fucking whatever. I just haven't done it. That's all. Other shit you can trade for. So that is the dealers. Let me see how long we are on in this video. We're about 30 minutes. All right, I'm gonna fucking scoot through the rest of this real quick. So this is the flea market. You can search for specific items, but all the items are over here in drop-down menus. There's gear, armored vests, you know, all that different shit. And you can inspect it from the flea market. It tells you how many points it has. You can do some filters up here. So say I had a shitload of dollars and like no rubles, you know, I could change this to only selling for dollars. Obviously, not a lot of people sell them. Pretty much everything is sold in rubles. So yeah, there's a filter for dollars, but there's not really much point. You pretty much just leave that at any. The most useful filters are probably the condition one. So if I'm trying to buy armor, and see this is like 32.4 out of 80. If I don't want to buy one and then repair it, I can just, you know, put this at 100. So it would only search from basically a brand new one. You hit OK, and you can only Ragman selling brand new one right now. But you can also, it's kind of just better to be like, you know, maybe 80. I'll usually do maybe about 70, and you can just kind of go through these and get one pretty close. So like here's instead of fucking whatever 27 for a new one, it makes more of a difference with the better armors. This is like shitty armor, but you know, this one's 74, so it's like a little bit cheaper than buying a new one, but it's only, you know, 6 points off. Here's 77, but that one's basically the same price. But it makes a lot more sense with like these bigger armors, shit like that, because sometimes it's cheaper to just, like I said, buy them and repair them. When you sell something on the flea market, you can put it up as a barter offer. So let's see if we can find, there's probably some barters for like armors and shit. Okay, so these are from the traders, right? But you can put your own stuff up for barters. So like this guy is bartering for a trooper armor, and he wants a water filter and a sugar. Sugar is super high dollar, and so are these water filters. So it looks like he wants one of each for that trooper armor. So you can either put it up for money, like if I wanted to sell fucking this, if I want to sell this M700, first off, you would, you know what, fuck it, let's do these filters first. Hold on. I want to get through this before I go into that, because that's a whole nother fucking thing. So yeah, so you can remove bartering offers if you want to, because otherwise they'll just take up a bunch of pages and it's kind of annoying. You can change it so that you display offers from only traders. So if you're only looking to buy stuff from the traders, but you don't want to sort through them and see, you know, whatever, because there's some items that like 2 traders will sell it, but 1 will sell it cheaper. So that's kind of worth it to do. Mostly you're just going to keep it on any. Functional items, you can see in my guns, see how these guns are all red? That means they're not functional. This is because I took the pistol grips off of them to save space. So if I bring this 8R up here and put that on it, now it's not red. So now I can put that on my dude. But if it's red, you can't put it on your dude because it's not able to be used, not functional. So that's how that works. And in the flea market, you can filter out any non-functional items. So if I go to, you'll see it especially in weapons. Maybe not the fucking grenades and shit, assault rifles. So see like these red ones, if I don't want to buy those and then have to buy all the parts and shit to put on them, then put that back at 0. Then I can just fucking filter out non-functional items and they'll go away. And then this just remembers whatever filters you set. Because generally, like, I always have these 2 set. Because I'm not ever, nobody ever puts anything up for a good barter. Like, very fucking rarely do you find a good barter deal from other players. So it's, I pretty much always filter those out. And the functional items too. So yeah, so that's the filters. All right, so on to selling shit on the flea market. There's a big fucking fat add offer button here. Ignore auctions, they're not in the game. There's a big fat fucking add offer button. You can have a total of 3 offers all at one time. So you saw all this shit is grayed out, even though some of this is found in raid. So like this is found in raid, but it's grayed out because I have shit inside of it. You can only sell things that are found in raid. So that, like, you know, even though I have this stuff, I can sell it to the traders, but I can't sell it to other players on the flea market. So that's how that works. Anything that's not grayed out means you can sell it. And like I said, anything with that, it's kind of hard to see on that one. Anything with that fucking little check mark, you know, if you hover over it, it says that it's found in raid. Obviously, this one doesn't have one. This one is insured. I'll go over insurance in a second. Or actually, I might do that in the next video because that's a little farther on. So yeah, you click add offer. If I want to sell this M700, I click it, I hit this, and I can add my price. Or if I want to barter for it, I can click down here and be like, I want fucking 40 packs of nails for the M700. And then there's a fee that you pay when you place an offer on the market. So to place this offer, I pay 14,000, you know, and then I get my fucking 40 nails. Nobody would ever do that. But that's just, you know, an example. Generally, you're gonna just put it up for money, and the way to figure out how much money is you right click on it, and you can do this with things that aren't found in raid just to see how much they are, and if you want to buy one of them off the flea market. So if I want to buy another RPK, right click on it, you go to search, and you're going to go to filter by item, and that will show you only this item on the flea market. So RPKs are selling for 57k. So if I was going to sell one, I would put it up for like 56. You know, generally you're just going to undercut whoever the last dude is because you're trying to just sell your shit right away. Unless it's like, as you play the game more, you'll learn what general values for shit is. So if this was like 20k, I would just hang on to my fucking RPK and I wouldn't sell it. You know, or I would just go use it and use it to make more than 20k. So like you get a general idea for how much shit is. So if I want to sell M700, I would sell it for like 38,000. You know, or you can make it even lower if you want, or you can make it higher because there's some items that sell really quick. So, you know, you can refresh it here And if someone bought that, then it would just be gone. So there's some stuff that sells really quick, particularly like ammos sell pretty fast. There's some guns that sell pretty quick. A lot of armors and stuff sell fairly quickly. All kinds of different shit. There's like weird shit that sells fast because they're barter items that are needed for crafting stuff. Like the sugar that I showed you and those water filters, they sell really fast because they're for making shit in your hideout. Let's see. When you make an offer, you go to my offers, it'll show your fucking 3 things there. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can just type in whatever here. So like, oops, I think if I wanted to, did I do that right? No, is it just a space? Oh, it's right in front of my fucking face. What am I talking about? So you do have to type in the, you know, whatever part of it. So like I could just put 700, but like model is going to get me there quicker. So you can see there's some other things with model in there. These are actually parts for this gun, but like a different stock for that gun. And this is a shotgun from the same company. So yeah, you can search for shit like that. It's usually quicker to just fucking right click it and do filter by item. As far as putting things on a gun, I'm not going to explain everything that they do right now, but if you do a linked search, it will show you everything that goes on that gun. So all these parts will go on this fucking Saiga. And, you know, and can be used on that. They can't be used on some other guns. But fucking, let's see, let's do it, I guess. So if you have just a part, you can either do a link search on just the part and it'll show me, you know, like 5.7 pistols. Or if I double click it, if I have the gun in my inventory, if I hover over this compatible with, it'll show me all the guns that it can go on or in. And like I said, there's that same thing. If you drag it, this already has one in it. So if you drag it, it'll turn green if it can go in there. Since it already had one in there, that's why it wasn't letting me put it in there. So that, I think, is the flea market. And I think we will pick it up. Why do I still have that on there? This is like a million fucking tasks ago. So yeah, there's a wish list. I don't really ever use it. Usually I just, you know, look at my tasks and see what I need, and I don't have to keep track of them on the wish list. But you can if you want to. To do it, you just right click it and fucking hit add to wish list. And then there you go. It adds that item. And then to get it off there, you just right click it again, hit remove. So we will, I think it'll be good to go over presets in the next one, because I'll try and go over some guns and stuff and what all the different shit means. When you sell something on the flea market, if someone buys it, you get your money through Ragman. It'll come up with a thing that says like receive all, and you just click it and it'll show you all your money and shit, and then you just it's self-explanatory when you do it. You just keep fucking clicking receive all, basically. No, that's the messenger. People can send you messages here. Like I can send, you know, my friends on here messages. You can add people through the game specifically because, you know, Tarkov has its own launcher and everything. So it's not like, you know, it's not like through Steam or whatever. So that's the messenger. And then there's the handbook, which just shows you all the things that you found so far. So, you know, it just gives you little blurbs about everything. Like it basically just shows you the inspection window of everything you've found so far. And that's the handbook. That doesn't really get used much either. You might use it when you first started out. I used it a little bit when I first started out, but other than that, I never really use it. It's mostly just annoys me because there's a little number here and I have to click it to make it go away because I don't like having number things on here. I've been trying to get my shit out of the hideout this whole video, and I've had to stop myself because I'm losing my mind because there's a number there. There's weapon presets that you can make. We're going to go over that in the next one. I'll just do a brief showing of it. So This is an 8R that I put together like early on in my wipe that I was using. And you fucking can have it buy the parts and stuff for you. This is settings. You have your graphic settings, post effects, sound, game settings. You can change your dude's voice and change it back to 3. 2 sounds weird. Oh, they added some new shit here. Okay, so I'll look at this then afterwards. We'll go over settings and stuff in a different video. That's a whole other fucking can of worms. But you can change your keybinds and shit over here in controls. Oh yeah, that's pretty much that. I think for the UI, that's basically it. See, we did that, showed this. You're going into a match, you can pick the maps. These maps are not in the game yet. That's why they have a little lock next to them. The lab, you need a key card to get into. You can't just go into it. So you need, where the fuck? Oh, it's right here. You need one of these to get into it. That's why I keep them, so I can go in there. And I don't have to buy them because they're expensive. They're like fucking 200k each. And it destroys it when it goes in there. That's why it's better if you have them, you know, just fucking keep it. Or, I mean, sell it. If you don't want to go to labs, you don't have to. Fucking, you know, just sell it, whatever. But, yeah, you click on the map you want. If I want to go into factory, you pick the time. It's always going to be like a split. Factory is not a good example because factory is always the same time. It's either 3 o'clock or 3 in the morning. So factory, the timer is stopped because it's just always the same. Reserve and shoreline, customs, woods, and interchange are all, and I know lab doesn't, yeah, because lab is inside. That wouldn't make sense anyway. But they all have their own time phase, you know, day-night cycle. So you can choose to go in the morning, you know, or at night. A little trick for if you're not familiar with military time, if it's past 12, you can just like subtract 2 off of this first 2 number, and then whatever like the second number is, that's what time it is. So like if I subtracted 2, it would be 19, and it would be a 9, so it's 9 o'clock. But this is 9 o'clock in the afternoon, or at night, and this is 9 in the morning. So once it hits 12 o'clock, like 12 noon, it'll keep counting up until it gets to 23, and then it goes back to 0, and 0 is midnight. So there's whatever, little tip for fucking reading that, so you don't accidentally go in at night, because nighttime is dark as fuck. If you go in there without a flashlight or NVGs, good luck. So at factory you can kind of do it without, you know, lights and shit, but it's this game is realistic in how it does the lighting, and the trajectories on bullets and all that shit. So fucking, if I wanted to go into factory, I go in here. You can check if you have a map. I don't have one. Hit next. You can do offline raids, which will take you in. You can fight against the AI by hitting this, enable PvE. You can change their difficulty to, you know, like easy, or you can have it just like it is in the raid, or, you know, just make them real assholes. You can change the amount of them. Usually if I'm just like, if I just want to practice fucking shooting a different gun that I'm not used to for a bit, I'll just put them on horde mode and just have them like as online, and I'll just go into like customs or something and practice shooting like close up, in buildings, at distances, whatever. There's bosses on each map. We'll get into those assholes later. So there's a bunch of different options. Tagged and cursed is fucking, as soon as you spawn, there's a bunch of scavs that come after you. So if you don't want to go find them in the raid and you just want to fucking get in there and start shooting immediately, just fucking click that, and there you go. They'll just come after you. Scav wars, they'll be fighting with each other. You can do random time, random weather conditions. If I turn that off though, and I hit next again, this is to do an online raid. This is insurance. We will go over this in the next one. Basically, you pay to insure your shit, and if nobody loots it, then you get it back at the end of the raid. If you die, I mean, or if you just throw it on the ground. You can do insurance fraud to make money, and you should be doing it every single time. And then this is the lobby. This is what it looks like. If I wanted to, I could add any of these people to my group. you first, I have like a bug with my fucking thing where it doesn't have me looking for a group anymore, and I have to like click it. Yours, I don't know, your results may vary. Just put it that way. Tarkov is still very clunky in some ways. And there's a lot of shit that's like wrong with the game that, you know, whatever, they're fucking working on it, but it's still fun to play. So yeah, you can add people, you can have up to 5 people in your group. And then you would just click ready to go in. So like once I click this, it'll start trying to find me a match. If I accidentally click it, you know, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to go in there, I can hit back. If it doesn't find you a match, like, you know, you can hit back up until it finds a match. Once you go, you know, once it is like, okay, here's your game, you're going into it, and it starts loading like the loot and shit, then I don't think you can hit back because you're just in it. And if you leave the raid at that point, then you forfeit all your shit, and it, you know, it just is gone. You don't get it back. So that is, I think, everything for the UI. These episodes, I'm trying to make them short, but there's a lot to this fucking game. So be ready for, you know, basically like this. There's going to be some longer videos. The UI is like probably the most to explain. I'm going to try and do just weapons and just armor and ammos and stuff in their own videos. But this for now is just the fucking dirty rundown on the UI. You know, and the hideout will have its own episode. I'm not even, I can fucking show it to you, but that's about it. I don't want to go into it, make this video any longer than it needs to be. So there you go. There's your hideout. You can go in and walk around in here if you want. Fucking, I don't have the lights on because I don't have any fuel. So yeah. All right. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode, and we will catch you in the next one. So peace.